Hello everyone, I am Krooked and I do stuff, and today we are playing Final Fight for the Super Nintendo. The reason that we're playing this is because of a conversation that I saw that I wanted to, determine which one I like more between Final Fight and Streets of Rage. Man, it does not stay at this title screen for long at all. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be Cody, just because I'm not a Mike Hager kind of guy. Yeah. So this is side-scrolling beat-em-up. Wow, is this really only 2 buttons? Just punch and jump. That's all there is here. So with Final Fight, I think this was Capcom's first side-scrolling beat-em-up. And it shows. Why do I have 9 lives? And why is the time like ridiculous? What is going on with this? Whatever, I'll take the 9 lives. I'll probably need it. But 26 seconds, that is no time at all. So, side-scrolling beat-em-ups, I've played a few of them on the channel now. Maximum Carnage, stuff like that. So, I like to think I kind of know what a good beat-em-up looks like. So far, Final Fight is just slow. Like, super slow. Granted, this is like one of the first beat-em-ups out there. But this is slow. It's almost painful slow. Graphically, I mean, this looks really impressive. This looks like something that you would find in an arcade. I really like that there's big, bold health bars. That's kind of cool. The time meter and stuff, that I don't think you should be timed in a side-scrolling beat-em-up. That just seems incorrect and not fun. That being said, it looks really good, except for, where the time is. The controls are probably the easiest thing I've ever. Start, pauses, select does nothing, L and R do nothing. It's literally just B and Y. That's all there is. Very, very bare bones. Ooh, I want this hat. Okay. I picked up a hat, but I don't get to wear it? That's a negative, Capcom. Also, these enemies, like, I walk towards them and they just walk away. Why do they walk away? I couldn't tell you, but it's a little annoying. I'll tell you that much. I like the jumping, because I can kind of Michael Jackson jump around. Ow! G. Oribur? Wong Hu. Not a fan of the naming convention of this one. Sound-wise, oh man, this game sounds good. The hits sound like they're connecting, which I think is important in any sort of a side-scrolling beat-em-up. I've talked about it in Batman. I talked about it in Spider-Man, Maximum Carnage. I talked about them everywhere. And I think the hits sound pretty good here. I kind of like that your character makes a noise as you do certain things as well. The actual sound of punching is kind of nice too. It's just, this is kind of as bare bones as it can get. So far there's been, I think, 4 different enemy types, which is pretty nice. Doug. There's a lot of color variants of the enemies, and I don't know, there's not much really bad to say about that side of things. It's just, having played other beat-em-ups before, I mean, if this is the first beat-em-up that you ever played, I could definitely see this being a pretty big deal to you, where you're like, yeah, this game's great. If you've played any other beat-em-up, though, this is just lacking very heavily. Also, what the hell is up with this balancing? Thrasher showed up and 2 hits took out 3/4 of my health bar? That's insane. What the... Okay. So that's kind of nifty. He's clearly a boss character, and for the fact that he can kind of just go take a seat while his lackeys come and fight, that's kind of cool. I like that. Apparently there's something up with this version because I have like max lives or infinite lives. And overall, everything so far, this is just really, really basic. Again, Capcom's very first adventure into it. I think this is a decent time. It just feels like... Oh, and there's another new enemy type. It feels very much like they weren't really sure what to do, so they played it very safe. But because they played it very safe, there's not a lot of substance here. It's fun, but it's very lackluster. I'm gonna see if there's anything after this level, maybe, that kind of changes things up. I like the level stuff in between levels where it shows you, you know, this is where you were, this is where you're going. That's kind of cool. And the map's even designed in a cool way. The music sounds alright. I could see this track getting pretty annoying after a little bit, though. Overall, the graphics are really the best thing about this game. Everything looks just like it came from an arcade, which in the 90s, you couldn't ask for more. If it looked like it was from an arcade, you were having a good time. But outside of that, there isn't much going for this game. And the fact enemies now have 2 health bars, that's a little bit harder to deal with. It's kind of inflated difficulty because it's not actually like adding new enemy types that are difficult or anything. It's just adding more health onto the enemies that you're already fighting. Again, the time is still getting to me because it seems so arbitrary and like it doesn't matter at all. Andore Jr., that's obviously Andre the Giant. But the time is so arbitrary. So it says 43 seconds like it's a fighting game, and it's like 10 seconds for every second there. It's dumb, and I don't think it needs to be there. Punching bad guys is fun, but it's just so lacking. Now I'm on the subway, and it's... I just beat up bread. Okay. 2 breads. I'm trying to find more that is either good or bad about this game, and... Well, it's a really good attempt, and a really, really good first game. When you compare this to basically any other fighting game, or side-scrolling beat-em-up game, because it's not a fighting game, that's kind of where I'm getting to. It feels like they weren't sure if they were making a fighting game or a side-scrolling beat-em-up, and at the last minute they're like, yeah, take out any other characters and just have it be a side-scrolling beat-em-up. So, as much as I'd like to give this a better score, I think this one is right down the middle of the road as possible, and Final Fight's going to get a 5 out of 10. It might make you try out some other games to see what a better one looks like. And, you know, if you're the type that really likes fighting games, you might have a good time with this. But I think for most audiences, this is going to be, oh yeah, that's fun for a level or 2, and then they're not really going to want to play it anymore after that. But if this was your first fighting game, you probably have really fond memories of it. So that's why it's really down the middle of the road, and it can go either way with this one. So, if you like Final Fight, like I like fighting games, or beat-em-ups rather, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, that way you never miss out on an episode of Unscripted. And hit that notification bell, so that way you'll be notified whenever a new episode of Unscripted does come out. Other than that, I do want to thank you for watching Unscripted, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye!